Hello, who goes there? I see a few names popping up. Please introduce yourself. Welcome. Mundi, Blackwater. I saw a couple other names that I don't recognize. Shakwan. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce. But if you guys can put your names in there for me, I would appreciate it. Thank you. That way I can address you directly. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm going to turn this around. Hello, everyone. Happy Labor Day. How's everyone enjoying their holiday? Or you should know, cancel. Okay, there we go. That's better. J. Rodney Cam, or Junior, J. Rodney Cam. Hello, welcome. I see a few names I don't recognize. If you are here for the first time, I spoke to you of your full moons during. Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I remember. Awesome. Well, glad to have you back. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you're enjoying your Labor Day. It really didn't feel much like a holiday to me. I didn't barbecue or do any of that stuff. I was going to go to the beach with my daughter and a couple of her little friends, but it seemed like it was going to rain. And so we didn't bother going out there. It was looking a little stormy for a minute, but so I got some work done, and I'm feeling very drained right now, mostly mentally. But Tanya, okay, awesome. Tanya, good. Well, nice to see you again. If you want to go ahead and invite some of your followers or tweet, that would be greatly appreciated, because this is going to be an interesting scope here. And I really sat down over the weekend and thought about how I want to be sharing this message and what God really wants me to do as I'm coming on the scopes. And this one is one that I've shared before in a podcast, but I'm getting an opportunity to go just a little bit deeper with this. So I'm excited to be able to share this information. So we're almost about over a minute in, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And just introduce myself for those of you that don't know me. My name is Marjorie Phoenix. I'm an author of the book, Who the Hell Do You Think You Are? It's a memoir. And I share in my book how I went from a upper class stay-at-home mom. I'm with you on that. I went from an upper class stay-at-home mom to becoming penniless and homeless in 24 hours. And I had to rebuild my life back from scratch with nothing at all. And I had to fight for my youngest child during that time. So it was one of those things where I really had to, it was a challenge. It was an obstacle, to say the least. But I found out who the hell I am during that time. And so the book shares my story of self-discovery and what happened. And there are some great information, great lessons in there for any woman who would go through a similar, situation, which there are quite a bit of women that I've came in contact with. Okay, no problem. Yeah, because I know Periscope can be that way. No problem. So anyway, I do that. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. And I also am a publisher. And in the publishing side, I help women who've gone through abuse and trauma, help them get their pain on print, whether it's just for therapy purposes or it's to eventually publish it. And so I work with women who've experienced abuse and trauma, and I help them reclaim their life in a very holistic type of way. And if you want to know more about that, you can go to my website at marjoriephoenix.com, and there's details about how I do that. And in mentioning that, actually, at the end of my scope, I'm going to do a live drawing for my retreat that I'm hosting here in Florida in the next couple of weeks. I'm choosing from a name of some of the people that reviewed my book. And so we're going to be choosing live right here. Hey, Michelle, thank you for coming back. Good to see you. I'm going to have my little girl pull a name out of the cup and announce the winner of that free retreat. Good to see you. I hope you've been enjoying your Labor Day. So this topic here today, this is one that I said I've shared on a podcast that I did once, but I'm going to give a little bit of an extended version. So we're going to talk about that woman. And you know who she is. She's the one that people point their finger at. She's the one they whisper and gossip about. People are talking about her. And, you know, that woman, it could be me. It could be you. Well, in fact, it was me at one point. I was that woman. And that woman tends to carry with her all the burdens of the guilt and the shame of the mistakes that she has made over the years. She carries with her the guilt and the shame of what happened to her. And it could have been something that could have happened during her childhood that she's still carrying with her. It could be the pain that you used to be that woman. See, carrying around what someone did to you. You're still carrying that guilt and that pain with you. And, you know, I like to talk about that woman. I'm going to tell you where this came from because it's really a beautiful story of transformation, restoration, acceptance, and love. And just like Michelle just said, she used to be that woman. And I'm sure some of you here right now can identify with that. Oh, yes, because the depression has a root. And so usually that root is coming from something. So that could very well be it. So we carry around that. And even from the fact that we have, you know, we're living with the anxiety and the depression and the things that has caused us. That brings on even more shame because we don't feel whole with that. So let me explain the whole concept behind this, because the idea of that woman really came out of the pages of the scriptures. Oh, okay. All right. So there's some things there. Now, I can't speak to that. That's a little bit beyond my scope, but there's always some things that we can do, Tanya, to help us cope. There's always something that we can do on our own where we don't have to be medicated, all the time, you know, at a certain extent. So, but let me explain to you where the idea of that woman came from. It came right out of the pages of the scriptures, out of Luke 7. Now, I just want you to sit with an open mind, even if you do not read the scriptures. I want you to understand the wisdom and the truth that comes from the scriptures that can teach us something. And this particular story, if you ever get a chance to go and read it, depending on the version that you have, how you can understand it. But in Luke 7, there was that woman, and she anointed Jesus. Now, in the scripture, she was told to be a sinful woman. Okay, that's how they labeled her. And again, let's don't attach ourselves to the word sin. Okay, let's just say that this woman had a reputation. All right. So she was known around town as that woman. This was probably a community where she was born and raised, and everybody knew her and knew all of her business. Right. Now, really, we don't know much about her story. The scripture doesn't tell us a lot about her story. And when you think about what you really know about something, you know what? They didn't give her a name. But I'm going to tell you this one. We don't know a lot about people's stories, right? We know bits and pieces. We hear bits and pieces, but yet we take those bits and pieces and then we create an identity about this person. And with that, we then label them that woman, right? So we don't know nothing about who this woman really is or what her sin was. But I would think that just from that time, that this woman probably, maybe she committed an adultery or she was a prostitute, right? There wasn't like so much for them to be doing to say, oh, she's so sinful. But I think that might have been it. So that's just in my mind. So just think about this. This woman, that's right, they never gave her a name, okay? The woman that anointed Jesus, okay? And this is so beautiful. Think about this now. She has this reputation, and what does she do? She walks into a room full of men, leaders and Pharisees, nonetheless, okay? Now she's walking up in there, and nothing was going to stop her from getting to Jesus. Nothing. No one. She wanted what Jesus had. She could see in Jesus the healing. She could see the acceptance. She could see the love. And that's what she wanted. And she went and she got down on her knees and she went to his feet. And she cried and she wept and she wiped his feet with her hair. Now she's doing all of this. And then she pours perfume on his feet. Now, this is what's so interesting. At that point, then they jump up and say, oh, does Jesus not notice who this is at his feet? Does he know who that woman is? Does he not know? I'm thinking it's not until she pops open that bottle of perfume and they can smell the aroma in the room that they even notice her. But this is what Jesus does. This is why I love Jesus. Jesus checks them. Jesus checks them right then and there. He calls them out and he schools Peter. And I don't know if it was Peter, it might have been Simon, either one. But, and I talked about this in my last scope about checking yourself, about self-examining. This is what Jesus does. Hello, Steffi, welcome. And this, now see, there's two different accounts. Now, this isn't about the money being wasted on this perfume that this woman is pouring out. This story is about the woman being at Jesus' feet, pouring out this perfume, and they say, do you not know who this woman is? This is in Luke 7, so read that one. And this is where you start to read, thank you. This is where you start to see the difference between religion and spirituality, or what really needs to be real Christianity. Jesus says to them, do you see this woman? Now, he's not just saying, do you see her with your eyes? But he's saying, do you see her? Do you see what this woman is doing? Now, he's pointing that out, and then he goes into his stories like he usually does, schooling them. Okay? And what I found so beautiful about this was that, first of all, this woman, she poured open this perfume on his feet after she's washed his feet with her tears. And I'm thinking this bottle of perfume, if she's a prostitute, she probably bought that bottle of perfume, from doing whatever she does. But whatever, it doesn't matter, right? Because as far as Jesus is concerned, none of that matters. We don't know. We only know that she was a sinful woman. That's all they say. Okay, so you can only start to look at the story from based on the times and what they really call a sinful woman, which was really maybe adultery, or they were doing prostitution, right? But that's all exactly. He didn't care. He didn't care. There was no judgment there. And that's why she went in there. So here's what Jesus says to her. He says, your faith has saved you. Your faith has saved you. Her faith. Now, it took faith. Think about this. For her to walk up in that room full of those people that she knew, talk about her, point their finger at her, would probably ridicule her, might have even stoned her out the door. I don't know. But the faith it took for her to risk everything, to walk up in there, to go after her healing, to go after her acceptance, to go after what Jesus had to offer. If you understand what I'm saying, please show me your heart. Please. Because I want to make sure this is connecting with you, okay? Thank you. That takes faith. You know how many times Jesus has said that to women? Your faith has made you whole. The woman with the issue of the blood, that's another story. But just think about this. I want to ask you, do you have that kind of faith? That's true love. That's right. That's right. You can hear my accent. Yeah. You can't hide. You can't hide from where you're from. But do you have that kind of faith? Do you have that kind of faith where you are willing to risk it, to go after what God has for you in spite of what people are going to say, how they're pointing their fingers at you, the judgment and all of that? That's real faith right there. You know, we don't know what her tears meant. We really don't know what all the tears were. She could have been crying at Jesus' feet because she was just so excited to be there at that time. I'm telling you, it's all God revelation. I'm telling you, it's God. We don't know what the tears meant. We don't know what her sin was. It don't matter. She was just going after what Jesus had to offer. And he didn't turn her away, and he accepted her. So I want you to know that whatever you are carrying with you, whatever hurts and pains, mistakes, whatever it is you're carrying with you from childhood, from last year, last month, the last hour, okay, I want you to know that you can go to Jesus with it. Yeah, that is so right. That's right. You can, I talked about this on my scopes, a couple scopes ago, and I said about in your daily practice going deeper with your commitment, with a constant awareness of who you are in God. And that's about going there and just pouring out everything, just like this woman poured out her tears. She poured out her heart. She poured out all her perfume. The same way, just pour it all out so he can refill you. No matter what anyone has done to you, they didn't give a name. They didn't give a name. No matter what anyone has done to you, no matter what you have done to yourself, no matter how beaten and battered you are, you can find the restoration. Another one of my scopes I did, you may be healed, but are you whole? You can find that wholeness again because you're God's masterpiece. And that brought me to this, and I started the show off with this I am statement. I have these I am statements that I give to the women in my workshops, and they're to help remind them of who they are in God. And this I am statement says, I am God's masterpiece. I'm a jewel, a treasure, a beautifully designed woman. Good, I'm glad. This is all from God. God created me to accomplish great things on the earth. I am the first and last of my kind, handpicked and fashioned by my Creator, God, to be a masterpiece and to do great works. And on the flip side of that, Ephesians 2:10, for we are God's masterpiece created in Christ Jesus to do works which God's prepared in advance for us to do. And then the question to ask, what great work is God preparing for you? To be empowered by that. So, if you are that woman, I work with women who have gone through abuse and trauma, and I help them reclaim their life. I do retreats, and right now I am getting ready to host my first retreat here in Florida, where women will come together, and it's a healing retreat. That's right. That's right. And God is doing some big things with it, where I'm going to be able to reach women all over the country and hopefully all over the world with something like this. Well, why don't we connect offline? I would love to tell you how you could help with that. I really appreciate that. If you go to my website, marjoriephoenix.com, you can email me from there or email me at marjoriephoenix@gmail.com. And I would love to connect with you because actually I am looking to start a nonprofit organization to be able to do this kind of work. It's called the Forgotten Women Project. And so this is specifically for women. Oh, really? Oh, I grew up in Miami. That's like my second home. So we need to reach women that have gone through this to know that there is healing and restoration in so many different ways. And so so that's my book. And then, that's my work. And then I have a book, Who the Hell Do You Think You Are, which is my memoir. And so now I'm trying to scope a little bit more, guys. I put a schedule together, and this week I'll be scoping Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And my next scope is going to talk about taking on a new name, how God renames you in the midst of the worst times in your life. Oh, thank you so much. My book is out. It's on Amazon. Who the Hell Do You Think You Are? And it's a memoir that talks about how I went from a upper middle class stay-at-home mom to being homeless and penniless in 24 hours, and how I rebuilt my life and all the miracles and everything, how God was there. Thank you. Well, it's funny. I answer that question, and when people ask me about that title, I tell them, when I was married, I was at the dining room table with my then husband, and I was sharing with him all my dreams and aspirations and to work with women. And he looked at me and he said, who the hell do you think you are? What makes you think these women will listen to you? You have no formal training. You have no college education. And, and I didn't know who the hell I was. I had lost my self-identity because I had been in an emotionally abusive and financially abusive relationship all that time, even before we were married. So the situation that he put me in, it forced me to learn who I am in God. Yes, I am. That's where these I am statements came from. God gave them to me. He showed me who I am. That's right. That's right. So it is a blessing for me to be able to share this with you all, because I know it's blessing someone. Wonderful, wonderful. I know that's true. You got to be careful. But even if you think, it's your husband who you think that's the safest place to do it, right? But there are so many women in these types of marriages and these types of relationships. They're emotionally, psychologically abusive. And it's really killing their self-identity. They don't know who they are anymore. I don't know. Anyway. But I want to thank you guys for coming on and supporting and giving me the love with all the hearts. Definitely. I appreciate that. So, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's on Amazon and you can get the Kindle version as well. So I want to go ahead and I don't know. My schedule, someone asked me what time I'm going to be scoping. But, I don't know. I don't like to do evenings. But if you guys follow me, you'll know when I come on. But I'm going to try to do mornings and try to get it out the way. And because I'm in school right now as well. So I've got a lot of studies. And then I'm trying to get the nonprofit organization off the ground. So there's a lot that I have to do. But Steffi, please reach out to me. I look forward to touching base with you and connecting with you. And then I'm going to have my little one come over, and she's going to draw out of this cup the names. Now I have about 15 reviews, and a lot of those people, they already told me, they can't make it. So it didn't leave me many names, but the names that are here, whoever needs to be a part of it will be. So, sweetie, Jazz, come on over. This is my little sweet pea. Doesn't she look like a sweet pea? Okay, sweetie. So just go ahead and pull a name out for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do I just read it?
Yeah, you can open it up. Who is it?
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Adrienne. Okay, thank you, sweetie. All right. Adrienne, thank you. Go away. All right, Adrian, she's my Facebook friend, and she lives in Baltimore. So she's going to love this. I hope she can get away for this. So this is awesome. Great. So listen, guys, I'll be back again on Wednesday, and I may pop in Tuesday or Thursday. If the Spirit reveals something, I'll do a 1-minute scope. But other than that, you're in Baltimore too? Awesome. Great. Well, I'm so thankful that you guys could join me this evening. So if there's anything in particular that you want me to scope about in the area of healing or abuse, domestic abuse, anything like that, feel free to let me know. And you can catch me everywhere on social media platforms as Marjorie Phoenix. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, Tumblr, everywhere. So thank you. Well, great. I'm glad that they invited you too. So you guys have a great rest of the evening and go out and change the world. Okay? Bye-bye.